Oh, yeah, there she is.
Second time I've been asked. I don't have one. I'll make sure to bring one before, so.
Bring this home to mom. She was going to make me. Ready now? They're cold.
Are you ready, Ricardo? All right. I'd like to call to order the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. Can we have the roll call, Ricardo?
Yes. Steven Spina,
Here.
Jody Wilkerson,
Here.
Lance Smith,
Here.
Kenneth Burgess,
Here.
Charles Proctor,
Here.
Mayor Munson,
Here.
Matthew Maggard,
Here.
William Poe.
Here.
All right, thank you. First item tonight is our business items. We have the approval of the June 24, 2024 meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Director Hamilton, will you do item 1.2?
Or the, sign professionals, that they're providing a template and they say either you do this, this, or this, something similar to this. If you'd like to go outside of that, that needs to be special conditions. Has to be seen.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, right? Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that's a good idea. I think also images are always a good thing to have, like, this is what we're looking for, this is what we're looking for, this is not what we're looking for. It just takes a lot of the guesswork out of the people, and especially if we can get hooked up with some sign people. I know that a Skywatch sign used to be a good one to use here. If we can kind of encourage local sign makers, that would be good if we have people that can do it. But I always think on all of these things, images are a really good way to convey the message on what you want to have.
Yeah, there's no mistake about it.
Right.
Words you can misinterpret. Sign,
A picture.
is hard to.
That's right.
I had one thought on the signs. Are there, since there's probably several that could be used, maybe you could approach the different businesses and get a local guy to bid on all three or something and maybe get a reduced price. And you could do couple at one time or something, if that would. I mean, if you see a couple of, yeah, if a couple people need new signs, you can say, hey, I can probably get you 10% off, plus half of it from us, if you do it now with these other businesses or something.
Great idea.
Program, if the building is historic, it has to be reviewed.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So I see that in here that you kind of covered a lot of areas of what is acceptable and what we're not looking for. In other words, we don't want to work into like maintenance things. Do we leave ourselves a way to where if there's something kind of in a gray area that we still meet? I don't know, whoever approves this, if it's just you or whoever, that we could still kind of like look them over to see that, because we know what we're looking for really, what we really want this money to go for. And somebody's going to try and push the limit on it, like to get just something fixed. So
And
you're
it
still
will also require three bids.
Okay.
So for $20,000, you need to make sure that you have the lowest bid. If it's not what we want, I have every right to, as staff, come to you when I present it and say, A, B, and C look good, D and F don't look good
Okay.
to us. And the CRA board has the last say.
But I think this overall is really needed because, I look at like maybe the ice cream place or something like, that's a lot of money that really can help them out, get started off and stuff, and other businesses like that too. So I think you're on the right track of trying to utilize in different ways except just a sign or a paint or something like that, so.
And also, I don't want this confused with, we've been talking last year, we started talking about a restaurant grant and suppression system and those things. This is not that.
Right.
We will still do that. Now, my other question to you is, can they put these grants together?
That was going to be my question to you.
That was my question,
How
too.
do we keep one person from eating the entire thing up?
Well, my idea is, we have the money. If they have the idea and they are a good candidate, I think we let them stack the grant.
I was going to ask, like you said, eligible projects, and like a grease trap. Could I do like a grease trap, a sign, and my parking lot, or?
Yes, you don't have to do all of them,
All right, okay.
because it's up to 20. So if you say, listen, I've only got 10, and I can get 10 from the city, then I can get 1, 2, and 3 done. Now, the other question is, currently, you can only use the grant one time. But if you only use part of the grant, can they come back and use a part that they haven't used before? Say they didn't use plumbing and electric, and they come back a year later and say, okay, I have the money. Or they want to do their parking lot. They didn't have the money before, they spent everything on the building itself. Can they come back and do the parking lot?
I think we need to be very careful on that,
Well, but
because we're gonna have to
again,
maintain, we're gonna have to monitor and keep track of how much they've spent. I mean, we just need to be very careful on that.
Well, I think we can create a spreadsheet on the address. It's on the address, it's
tagged.
on the property, and create what's been done and attach the permits to it.
and it still increases the value of the property over time. It helps us bring more people, more foot traffic downtown if it's a successful business. So it still meets the kind of criteria that over time, the incremental improvement and the value of the property repays us.
Well, and I wonder, you said we've had the money, very little utilization. Will the increased number make people want to do it more, or we still have the same problem? We've got the money sitting there, nobody's doing it, might as well let somebody do something then,
Well, in
right?
talking to the property owners that own businesses on Fifth and on Gulf Boulevard say that, yes, they would use it.
They would, okay.
It would entice them to make that investment. And listen, the commercial banks would be interested in it too, as long as they have a signed agreement with the CRA that we're gonna pay up to $20,000.
And have you, I'm sure you have probably tried to like, kind of push this out there, and, you know, especially the places we think maybe could use the improvements, and you've spoken with them and,
Yes.
okay,
Yes, and trying to find out why they're not
right.
fixing the building up, or they have a building that they're not doing anything with, and it's just sitting there. What can we do to help them get that building open? Now, Kevin and I haven't talked about it yet. Billy and I have talked about it, of creating a campaign, a one-page flyer that we send out about this grant and the things that it will do, not just to the property owners here, but to the real estate companies that are looking, and maybe they have businesses that are looking in our area, and that will get them to look inside the city and the CRA district. If we say, buy that building in the CRA, you need to make these improvements, the CRA will give you up to $20,000. So we can use it as a marketing tool as well for new businesses to move into the district.
Yeah, why don't we look at, and I know, why don't we look at, it's a one-time
Okay,
thing, and then let's evaluate what gets done or doesn't get done.
if that makes you nervous, I'm good with that.
Well, part of it is if a business is coming in and they, you know, they need a grease trap, they need things, but the parking lot's full of potholes, well, if you can't get in the parking lot, how successful is your business gonna be in that first year?
You make a good point, because if the parking lot is full of potholes, then it's not gonna pass the commercial check.
Right, so we're gonna force them to do some of these things. I think we look at it and then let's assess how many businesses come back or aren't able to take care of all that
And let's
stuff.
look
I
at
mean,
the
if
comments
council
that we
or
get.
CRA, yeah.
You know, and maybe we adjust it. Everything can be improved. You know, you roll it out, you see how it works, and then you make adjustments to it to shore up the bad, or the weak places and strengthen it. So my biggest thing that feedback I want from you is 20,000, are we good with 20,000? And can we stack it?
Yes, Jody?
Yes, Mr. President, just back to what you just said. I think that we should not penalize the business owners, property owners who continue to invest in the CRA. So, for example, there are some examples of, Manolo's is one, I think T. Summers Accounting is another, maybe Faithful Friends, that these are people who 5 years ago maybe got a grant and were able to come back and ask again. So they're making continuous improvements over time, and they're continuing to invest their energy and resources into our CRA. I think that's not such a bad idea.
Yeah, to that point, I would say, you know, if we say you can apply for it every 5 years, and it's whatever the cap is. I think I spent 10,000 this year and I can come back next year and spend another 10 or another 9. I think I don't know. I just see potential issues with that. But if it's, hey, you can apply for it now, 5 years from now, you can reapply, you can apply for the whole amount, because you're seeing some lifespan on some of the improvements that were made. I agree with that part, yes.
Nothing further.
I have one question. How much does a grease trap cost?
It depends, whether it's inside or outside, if it's under the sink,
Is that could be up to $10,000?
could be up to 10,000, yeah.
Wow, okay.
And hoods too, fire hoods.
And we want to make sure that it is done right and done well, because grease traps affect more than just the business. It affects our utility
Utilities,
system.
yeah.
Yes, certainly.
I was just sitting here thinking, and I thought of, I have a restaurant, I come in, I get the grant for the sign. I get whatever, 2,000, whatever it is. The property owner, I'm leasing the property. my business fails. Next year, somebody wants to put a restaurant in that same location. They come in, they ask for $2,000 for the sign, and we'd be like, wait a minute, you all right?
Yeah, sorry, just got that down one part.
And we're like.
That is correct.
We just paid for a sign.
That is
What are you saying? You need a new sign? So, I mean, I don't know that there's any way to have a good solution for it.
Well, there is one way, and I looked at a couple of CRAs that do this. The signs, all the signs in the CRA have a bracket that is common to everyone. And it's a very, an iron, black iron kind of hanger for their signage. And the CRA buys that and pays for that, and the owner pays for the sign itself.
Right.
So that when the business fails and they leave, they take their sign with them, but the ornate
stays.
hanger, the bracket stays here. Now, it won't work in every instance, and every business wants a bigger sign. Whatever the sign is, they want it 2 feet bigger than what the regulation allows.
And
So-
we have a sign, a square footage
Yes.
that you can have as either a hanging sign, or also there's probably a sign that can be put on the storefront too,
Right.
a lettered type
And
sign.
one of the things that we've been kicking around is to take some pictures of different types of storefronts, different types of businesses, and create signs for them and use them as the example. So that if you don't have room for a monument sign and you have got to put your sign on the wall, well, what can you do on that particular building? And try and make them unique, because that's really, signage is art. And we need to look at it as art. It can be something very attractive and try and give not only the potential business owner, but the sign companies some great ideas for what you can do with signage.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a help on that, the sign manufacturers. And let me ask you another question, because I've been involved in the design review committee on community associations, and you have a committee there. And because nobody likes to be told, oh, you
Yes.
can't have that color, So, talk about making somebody mad, tell them, well, we don't like that color that's proposed. So when they come down to hear this, and I'm just asking you for your personals, are you the only person?
I'm the person.
And I'm just suggesting
I'm
that.
the no person.
Well, and I'm just suggesting maybe you should expand that so you've got some other people that are on the no. That's just an idea, because it puts you in a very difficult position.
It does, and one of the things that we're updating the design plan for, because one of the issues that we're finding is, okay, I go to the building department, I'm gonna open a business, and I go to the building department, and the building department says to us, to the person right away, we'll take your application, but before we do anything, you have to go to the CRA and propose what you're going to do and show them, and the CRA has to sign off on your signage. So go see Gail. So they come up, and before anything else is done, I have to review their signage and approve it. So in the update of the design standards, we're going to create them so that planning, when they are doing their commercial check, they can look at the sign as well and determine whether it fits within the design standard.
And I've got another, let me throw a different scenario at you. When they go to do that, they're given a nice sheet that says, there is some opportunity for you to have some of your investment repaid to you. Here's some signs that you can do. Here's your grease pat, here, blah, 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 blah. Nice one page. Go up and see Gail, and she'll be able to get you some money on help. So
Get
that's
you an
better than being,
application.
that's better than being told, you got to do this. This is what you can do.
And I try and tell people, listen, if the CRA is going to tell you what kind of sign you can have or cannot have, then we're going to help you pay for that sign. We're going to invest in your sign with you to make it seem like, well, it is. It's not seem like. We are partners in this. We are all trying to make the district better.
You use, because I'm sorry to get so deep into it. Sherwin-Williams has a historic color palette. Do you use that kind of as a?
Well, I do. We do not regulate paint, but everybody wants an opinion. They want to say, and I try and guide them on paint colors and try and help them look at what's next to them, what's across the street from them. If it's a commercial building, you know, what you're looking for in a commercial building with your signage. So yeah, I usually sit and talk to them.
And I think the images are good in that context, because you're right, you wouldn't want to have a color the same necessarily right next to each other, it's the
Right.
same across the street. And I think when I read through it, I understand why the repainting is of the same color is not.
That's correct.
It's not, because if it was a color that really is incompatible, you don't want to repaint it that same incompatible color.
That's right.
The same way with the awning, I'm assuming, too. So,
So we're trying to avoid maintenance because maintenance does not increase value. And that is the reason for the CRA, is to increase value within the district. And so we want to make that building or that property more valuable.
do you have, I wondered why, when it said parking lot improvement, it helps improve the building's overall appearance. Would that just only be resurfacing?
You know, it says in here resurfacing, but it also says to bring it up to code. Well, you can't have a dirt parking lot.
Right.
So it would pay for up to that amount of money for, if you say, that's all I'm gonna do, is, because asphalt's expensive.
Right, right.
Paving a parking lot is expensive.
But it wouldn't include, like, if I wanted to put trees or landscaping in the parking lot to improve it. Why wouldn't it include trees?
Because trees die.
Well, that's true.
And if the landscaping dies, the investment that we've made dies with it. Now, the city requires you to have landscaping, and that can be part of your match for the
Okay.
grant.
Okay, well, that's fair.
And then it's your investment. Now, it's all mixed together, but for the CRA's purpose, we don't do landscaping, because if you don't take care of it,
Well, see, I didn't realize that. In other words, if I had a package that I said, here's all my improvements that I want to make, and a certain of them qualified for the grants, I mean, I could be putting plants and shrubs in, but that's part of my match.
that is correct.
Okay, good. I didn't know
So I
that.
sit with them and go through it and say, okay, you can use that, a roof. We don't pay anything for a roof, but you can use it for your match.
That's awesome.
It is, the idea is to get the property owner, and really the property owner. It's hard to sit with a business owner who wants that building so bad that they are willing to invest $40,000 into something that they could, you know, they don't own. But that is, and, you know, maybe they make out an agreement with the property owner to get free rent for the money they've invested, so.
Life of the lease.
But Matt has not looked at the agreement yet, has not reviewed it. I want him to review it and make sure that we meet all of the, you know, legalese. But it will start October 1. This is not for this year. We'll start at October 1, if that's okay. Unless you want to start it now,
No, so you'll bring this back to us next
after
month?
it's been, legal has reviewed it. And we hopefully will just do I've got all your questions answered.
Gail, do we have funding available this fiscal year,
Yes, we
correct?
do.
And we
And
know
we
we
will
have
have
some,
to roll that
couple
money.
businesses,
I'm sorry?
we have a couple businesses looking.
Yes. So, you know, thank you for bringing that up, because we did talk about this. Can I, as a catalyst project, bring it to you before October 1? And it's not part of this grant, it's a catalyst project investment.
Well, you'll have to bring it by next month, or it won't be worth it. I mean, they'll have a week to do it early, you know.
Right.
So,
And I have one that's ready to go. So I'll
Another
bring it
thing-
I'll bring it to the CRA next month.
If we do the agreement, we get it to Matt, Matt can review it for August. We can approve the grant, approve the grant and then approve the project second.
Yep.
So it'd be August.
work.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question? You probably said this, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So they can come in with this 20,000 and do a grease trap and maybe do a signage at the same time? Are you allowing them to do
Yes,
multiple things?
multiples.
That's good. Okay,
From all of these different categories, they can pick until they.
perfect. Okay, that's what I was hoping.
And how much, you have money in the fund to, if we started early?
Yes.
Is there a consensus, I guess, to do it early?
So I had one more comment about the contract. You say once approved, the applicant will have 6 months to complete the project. So something like a hood or a grease trap, there might be some availability issues. So maybe they'll have 6 months unless there's some extenuating circumstances.
Right. At the end of 6 months, if they know they're not going to get it in, we'll bring it back to the board and ask for a 6-month extension.
Was it a reimbursement or not?
It is a reimbursement.
So they pay for, I'm sorry, they pay for everything up front.
They pay for everything up front. Now, I did talk to a couple of bankers that said for commercial lending that it would bode well for them if they had a signed grant agreement with us that they could take to the bank and say, look, I have this money, it's guaranteed by the city once I finish it. So hopefully they can work with their local banker and help fund the project beforehand.
Do we want to approve this tonight then, or you want to wait?
I'll wait and bring it back
All
because
right,
we may make
okay.
some changes after. That's what I said. You haven't seen it, and I want to make sure that you see it and say it's okay.
Gail, I just want to thank you for looking at this, because this is real important to bringing business downtown and in our area. So thank you for thinking outside the box and looking at this big picture.
I appreciate that. Thank
Because we
you.
need it.
Because we are in competition with every other city around us. And we want to make sure that people know we're here and we're open for business, and we want to help businesses move into our district. Okay.
Right. Next item is the CRA Director's Report.
Okay. I have some updates for you. The Parks Master Plan, we've been talking quite a bit about it during the budget process. August 13th, GAI will meet with city staff. They will bring the public results from the survey, include a presentation to show the demographics, the marketing of it, what the analysis of what we were told, and rank them. What is the number one thing they want to see? What does the public want to see? And if you didn't see the survey also asked, if you had $100 to divide up between the parks, how would you divide it? What would you give? And so those results will be back as well, and I'm really interested to see what the public said. We also asked for information on how long have you lived here? Are you a, quote, old-timer? Are you someone who's just moved here in the last year or the last 2 years? So key issues in the survey will be reviewed by city staff, and then I need to look at dates because we need to do a joint Parks and Rec Advisory and City Council workshop on the Parks Master Plan. So I'd like to do it in August, end of August, 1st of September. I made a promise we'd get this done this year, so I want to do it before October 1.
I have a question. When they did their presentation, we left the idea of a community center kind of up in the air. When will that be revisited? And I mean, we don't want to get a complete plan and then say, oh, well, we want this building there.
So I talked to Christine about it and said, look, I've got parks, I've got Zephyr Park up, and in the current plan for Zephyr Park, we've removed Alice Hall. But we need a community center, and I need your group to tell us from the statistics, from the information that you received, give us some ideas. And so her response was, Gail, I'll put out some choices and some ideas, and the council can decide for themselves with the Parks Advisory. If we do it now, and we decide really needs to stay at Zephyr Park, then we can put that into the park plan. If it's Shepherd's Park, where we have some buildings that are very old, and I went in there the other day and I was telling Billy, the Girl Scouts are decoupaging the floor because the floor looks so bad. I mean, so if they say, maybe we look at, because of the current condition of the buildings, we look at putting the center there. I don't know. They're going to give you some options and why they chose those options or those locations. So we'll have that at that next meeting. That's one of the reasons I'd like to get this joint workshop done as soon as possible.
All right, thank you.
Would proposed date?
Do you want us to send down a proposed date after city staff has looked at the calendar? City Manager Poe?
I would say let's get some available dates
Okay.
here if we can.
So what does the third week of August look like for everyone?
That's,
19th through the 3rd.
Of the
FLC.
FLC.
No, FLC is the 14th through the 17th.
Tried.
Nice try.
the week of the 19th would be the best, I guess, or the 26th.
The 26th wouldn't work for me. It's my anniversary and we're going to be gone.
Well, the 26th is a regular council meeting night,
Oh, it is?
2 to 4. But I'm saying the week of the 19th or the 20th.
If we did it on this,
The week of the
first-
19th would be better for me,
If
but
we did it the first
Not the
city council
19th.
meeting, we could do it at 5 o'clock, and then you could do your meeting at 6. Does that work?
Works for me.
Which one?
12th, the 12th? Yeah, I don't see any
As long
reason.
as we don't have to be here at 3.
But we have
August
to,
12th?
No food.
No, August 12th won't work.
we have to do a budget
Days.
workshop too, so, in August.
Yeah, but
What-
August 12th won't work because we're not doing the meeting with staff until the 13th, so it has to be after the 13th. Because that won't work. I could take the CRA meet, no, I can't do that either, because I got to bring stuff back to you in August.
Well, why don't you do 4 o'clock on the 26th? It's better than 3, and then roll right into the CRA, I guess.
Matter with the 12th.
Put one on with the 12th?
We can't do it the 12th because the
No, we're talking about,
staff,
are you talking budget, or
No,
what,
I'm-
what does staff do on the 13th?
We're meeting with GAI
the
for their
meeting with the
presentation.
consultants to go
okay,
through what the
okay.
presentation
All
is
right.
going to be is on the 13th.
All right.
And I don't let anybody present anything that I haven't seen first.
Well, you
It
could
doesn't
do it the
respond to comments
19th,
we
I
got from
guess.
the public.
That week of the 19th through whatever that is, I'm good any night that week
19th
if
to
we want to do it,
Second.
The
but
19th.
19th would be great.
I support 4 o'clock.
well, that would be the 26th, though.
Oh, no, the 19th, don't we? Oh, okay, you're right.
Don't have a council meeting then. Our council meetings are the 12th and 26th, right?
So you want to do it on the 26th or the 19th?
I'm good with either one of those dates as well,
Let's just do it the same.
because we're not doing something until the end of that week.
Let's do it on the 20th.
Okay.
All right, yeah, we might have to
All
do
right,
the
workshop.
budget on the. Do you have any plan?
Whatever council wants.
Probably,
Okay,
well,
so
it would have
why
to
don't
be,
we- I'm sorry.
all right. Let's set the parks meeting first,
Okay.
since we're there.
And I will send out, we'll look at calendars and make sure there's no
The
issue.
12th.
We'll check with Parks
Or
and Rec
after
Advisory
council.
Board, and we'll confirm with all of you. Okay? On date and time,
26th,
for the 26th at 4. Okay? Because I have more to. That's right. Work. So I need to get on the phone with them ASAP.
Even if we get a majority, and they can
That's right.
disseminate the information or let us know their comments in advance, yeah.
That would work. That would work. Are we good?
Yeah. I mean, if they can't be here, we could do it after the council meeting too. Yeah, right.
Okay, so y'all are open to doing that too?
Yeah, because some of those guys are going to be at work at 4.
That might be better. Schedule it. Sorry.
Or after.
That might be better just to schedule it immediately following, and then as a staff, we'll try to keep that meeting as short as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
That might be better. So I guess, do you want us to go ahead and schedule it for after, or do you just want whatever the consensus is of the recreation board? To do it either
Whatever they
for
can do,
or after, whatever gets the most people from that board here?
So we'll decide then.
Yeah.
Can
Or
you
if,
send out an email?
yeah, we can send it out, but if that's okay with the board, give us the two options of either at 4 before the meeting or immediately
after.
following
Yep.
council,
Whichever
whichever
you can get 'em.
works, that we can get the most people.
Or you could do CRA at 4 and the other at 5, and.
Yeah, whatever, as long,
All right.
however
Whatever's
we
the
do it,
most.
that we can get the
Yeah,
most
you
people
do-
here.
you do it.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
We
We're
can
talking about the
manipulate time.
26th.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so Parks Master Plan, we're done. CRA Master Plan, we are working on goals, objectives, and strategies, which include projects which are basic, progressive, and transformational, developmental and development incentives, policies and incentives and partnerships, working on the budget, capital projects and development initiatives, policies and incentives, and plans and programs. So I have a meeting Thursday with GAI to go over this. We are we're trying to get this done. But because you all see parts of the city that, of the CRA, if there is something that you would like the CRA to do in the next 5 years, because this is a 5-year plan, if there's something we need to be working on, drop me an email, send me a text, so that we can start putting that into the plan. We hope to have a presentation for you at the September meeting of the master plan, so that you have that. So that's all I have on the CRA master plan. The Fifth Avenue streetscape budget, I really want to say Pasco County has been incredibly helpful with us during this transformation from Fifth Avenue being State Road 54 to it becoming County Road 54. Because I need to encumber the money that we're using to do the streetscape on Fifth Avenue. Pasco County went ahead and had their staff review our plans, give us comments. We're going through the comments right now. Once we have the comments ironed out, Pasco County is saying, go ahead, put it out to bid, while we work with FDOT to get the ownership of the right-of-way done. Pasco County has made their plans. They've sent them to FDOT. It's in FDOT's legal department right now reviewing it, so hopefully they don't have a date for BOCC, the Board of County Commissioners review, but hopefully it will be soon, because I want to spend that money. I want to get that project off the ground. And
No,
if
that was
I-
anticipated to be done last January, right?
I'm sorry?
That transfer was anticipated to be done last January?
Yes.
Okay.
And I am monitoring it because I don't want to do a bid and then have to wait 6 months
Right.
before the right-of-way is done, but we are working on it. The CRA tree program, we are creating right now photo simulations of each one of the streets that shows the trees on the street and what kind of trees that each street can have. We're working on the language of it, and also in our contract, they are doing the flyers and promotional pieces on it. To refresh your memory, the CRA tree program is if you are a resident and you will maintain or take care of a tree, we will plant it in the right-of-way for you, and you have to take care of it. You sign an agreement that says you will water it and take care of it. If you don't and the tree dies, you're not getting another tree. The idea is we're trying to create a canopy. When I look back at when we first started the CRA in the neighborhoods, when we encumbered the neighborhoods, one of the biggest comments was the shade, the trees that are in the CRA district and in the downtown neighborhoods. And we have lost a lot of that. And so we want to put that back because it's all about increasing value, and trees on a street increase the value of the properties. So I hope to have a draft for staff planning to review this coming month. And once they review it and they're good, we've answered their questions, we'll bring it back to you. We also have identified all the vacant parcels within the CRA district. We've done it on a map. Now we're doing it on an Excel spreadsheet with the owners. You know, we talked earlier about the CRA having money to buy land. Well, I need to know where the vacant land is. And so we're going to create a program of trying to spend that money and buy that land. The CRA needs to start buying land for bigger projects. So we're underway on that. And the signage for the entranceway and Hercules Park, we finally have a design. The engineer has signed off on it, and we will go into production. Well, let me take that back. They'll come back to us with a cost estimate now that the engineer has finished. If it's in our budgeted amount, we'll go ahead and order it and get it done. And that is my report. Antoine?
Hear from our Main Street manager.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? All right, I am here to give an activity report for Main Street Zephyrhills. Starting off with, actually, I wasn't prepared to have this be the first one, but I'll go ahead. I recently attended the state conference in Tallahassee, and Zephyrhills Main Street was recognized for being in business or being established, I apologize, for 30 years, and so we did receive this award. As you can see, that handsome gentleman on the far corner, we were presented this award by Secretary of State, and it was a great event. It was a lot of networking, a lot of engagement from other communities that are similar to ours and going through some of the same things we go through, and also some other communities who are different from ours. So it was a great time to kind of talk about some of the challenges and pluses that come along with being a Main Street program. And hooray for the award, too. Thank you. Next up is a theater update. We met with an architect on the 9th of July, and we are currently in our program development stage. We're currently not hosting any tours due to the mold and the possibility of potential injuries. There is no lighting in the theater, and the ceiling is leaking, and so it's a hazard. We are currently working with an architect for conceptual images that we hope to release very soon, and we'll be putting out an RFP for architectural and engineering to restore the building. These are a few pictures. Obviously, the one at the bottom is from a few years ago. And that one at the top is what the inside looks like in the front when we had a clean out session.
You will have more clean out sessions, right?
I'm sure we will. Yes, we will be having some more clean out sessions in the near future. Any questions?
A comment, and I think that I'm very excited about this project. I'm very excited about the team of people that we have committed to the project. I did speak with both you and Ms. Hamilton about that we should really have someone who specializes in marquee design for historic projects, and maybe they joint venture with an architect who has a bigger bandwidth. You know, maybe it's just one person who joint ventures with them. So at this point, my understanding is you're sort of in the program investigation stage.
Correct.
What is, you know, the desired square footage? You know, what is the intended purpose? You know, how many floors will we have? What, you know, what will the character of the space be? So we're very early in those stages. So
Correct.
thanks to Main
Those
Street
were some
for
of the
that.
things that were shared at the meeting, and we gave a lot of intel and insight to what we hope to have there. And I guess I think the conceptual designs will cover a lot of those things for us.
I'd like to see that, I looked at two Quonset hut former theaters in St. Petersburg. One of them was a theater and is now a Boys and Girls Club. The other one's like a bar restaurant, but they redid the interior, and I think it'd be worth a trip there to have a look. I don't know how you get the architect for this job, but through, and I'd like to make sure that when you are meeting that Hunter, our historic preservation planner, is included in your meeting, so.
For sure. Our president has started to put together a list of places that we'll take some tours to, so I can definitely make sure Hunter's
I'll
included on
get
that.
that to you.
Like I said, we're just in the development stage right now, so a lot of things are being done just amongst conversation and not necessarily action until the conceptuals are together. But yes, I have spoken to that department, and I'm sure we can get them involved.
Something else that's important to clarify here, and that is that, while Hunter's encouraged to be involved, we really shouldn't be expending city resources on that since it's a Main Street-owned structure. I just think that, I think there is a place, however, at some point where where Main Street may need the assistance of the city to handle project management and, you know, purchasing and things like that.
Hunter's works with the Historic Preservation Board, which encompasses all historic properties, and I think it's very important, especially on the ground, regardless of who wants.
Right. Although I guess my question would be, if this were a private property owner, which it is, would we be requiring them to have, you know, Hunter on their team? And again, I think it should be a voluntary sort of thing.
I think that or I'm not going to argue with you. It's, Main Street is with them financially. I think the city does.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Next is citizen comments. Is anyone here who would like to speak?
Vicki Wiggins has signed up to speak.
All right, thank you.
Vicki Wiggins, 38550 Fifth Avenue. As most of you know, the chambers, I'm short, so I'm blowing us. Our chamber is having its annual celebration next week, August 1st. I hope to see all of you there. And the committee decided this year to go ahead and announce winners ahead of time to ensure that those honorees and their families could attend. With that said, I would like to share with you that our Leadership in Government award this year is going to Antoine Gilden. So I just wanted to let you all know that. And then to remind you to RSVP, so that way, I think Melanie is the one who's organizing your table, and so we want to make sure that you are all there. So next week, August 1st, 6 to 9. Thanks.
Thank you.
Where's that going to be held?
Auditorium.
Great city.
Okay.
Any other citizen comments? Any commission comments? If not, I adjourn the meeting.
You got a minute? Yep.
Plenty of time.